Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So the topic that will be followed now is materials. Okay, so from the last video, we understood this much, that how electrons flow. So those aimless electrons, or you can say the jobless electrons, they were given some tasks. So what tasks? That is, wherever there is deficiency of electrons, please go and help them. So as a result, what happened? The electrons got a job and they were looping inside one circuit. This is something that we have seen. Now here the point comes. Do all the substances allow this flow of current? Will all of them allow the electrons to do the whatsoever? No. Definitely when you do something, there are struggles, there are hurdles. So in the same way, here also, in the topic materials, also there are certain substances, excuse me, which will allow the electricity to pass. That means better to say electrons to pass, and there will be certain substances which will not allow the electrons to pass. So now based on that, we have two, that is conductors and insulators. So what is the difference between them? So substances that will, conductors, that means they will allow. So substances which allow electricity to pass through them without much effort. And insulators, substances which do not allow electricity to pass through them, or maybe not. Like it may be not smoothly, like sometimes you may allow the electron to pass, but after posing too much of struggles, the electron is able to pass through them. And in the cases where it is smoothly, no obstructions, nothing, so those substances are conductors. Okay, so let us see, that is, how is this conduction? How can you say this conduction happens? So we have come across the word valence electrons, right? So these valence electrons, right? These valence electrons are those electrons which are present in the outermost shell, right? This much we have understood. Now this valence electrons, I was telling in the first part only, that if these valence electrons, they have sufficient energy from first itself, then these electrons are, we can term them as free electrons, because they have the energy to travel. But if they do not have, then we have to provide some energy externally. Now first of all, from these two topics, let us cover first conductors. Now in conduction band, there is definitely one energy, and this is my energy at valence band. Now this is something that I was telling, that if my electrons already they have that energy in order to conduct, that means they are already the part of conductors. That means those substances, that means the valence band and the conduction band, they overlap. Why? Because the electrons already have that much amount of energy in order to flow. So as a result, the conductors, the electrons are able to flow, and they do not pose any hindrance to the flow of electrons. Now in insulators, what happens? In insulators, we can see the gap. The gap is very large. That means if we want to give energy, in that case, the cost will increase, right? So those substances which do not allow electrons to pass through them are known as insulators. Okay. Next, we will come, there's a question here. Which of the following are conductors and which are insulators? So first of all, whenever we have such kind of questions, we can just make, two columns stating one is conductors and other one is insulators. Okay. So first of all, sulfur non-metals, in that case, we can say it is insulator. Okay. Next is silver. Silver is definitely a very good conductor, the best conductor you may say. Copper, definitely, because there are copper wires. Okay, next is cotton, definitely not. Next, aluminium. Yes, aluminium is a metal. I'm just writing the symbol, okay. Air, no, otherwise we would have got electric shock again and again. Nichrome is an alloy. It's also a good conductor, present in wire, electric irons and all. Okay, graphite, though it's carbon, non-metal, but still it's a good, conductor because of the physical structure. Next, paper, definitely not. Okay, otherwise we would have an excuse, okay, not to study, because this paper is giving electric shock. Okay, porcelain is not. Okay, then comes mercury. Yes, mercury is a metal and it's a good conductor. Mica, no. Mica is present in sand. Bakelite, no. Then what is this? Polythene, no. Then manganese, yes, it's an alloy. Okay. So these are little easy, right? Okay. Next question. The atoms of copper contain electrons and the atoms of rubber also contain electrons. Then why does copper conduct electricity but rubber does not conduct electricity? So first of all, you have to say that copper, they have sufficient amount of free electrons. Okay, first of all, they have sufficient amount of free electrons. So as a result, they are able to flow. As a result, they are able to flow and hence the current is possible, right? That means the electrons, the atoms of copper contain electrons and the atoms of rubber also contain electrons, right? But in that case, what we have to say that this copper has sufficient free electrons. Sufficient free electrons, okay? But it's rubber. Rubber has few or let's say no free electrons, okay? So as a result, rubber does not conduct electricity. Okay. Next. So there's a topic circuit or circus, which of the circuits will work. Okay. So till this much you understood that whenever the electrons have to flow, first of all, they need to have a force. Means as a result, there should be someone who can motivate them, right? So who is them? Who is that particular object? Battery. Yes, because because of the terminals, what will happen? They will give these electrons one direction to flow, one direction to move in life. So as a result, we need a power source. Okay, first. Second, the path through which these electrons will move, that should be also free of hurdles and obstacles. So then only the electrons can pass. These are the two things that you need to keep in mind. Okay. Now, first thing. Chalo, we have a power source, good. That means electrons, definitely they will try to, come to this point so that the deficiency of electrons, or you can say it can be compensated, right? So electrons will start flowing from this direction, okay? Now electrons, because after all, the positive terminal is here, so electron since it's abundant, it tries to push. These electrons will come here, these electrons will come like this. So now the electrons, when they try to go in this direction, the bulb is fine, right? Because we know bulb inside it's made up of tungsten. It's a good conductor. There will be it will flow. But what is the problem? The electrons, when they try to see this particular object, what is this? Comb, and it is made up of plastic. So if this comb is made up of plastic or you can say wood, then what happens? The electrons, they try to move. Now, first thing, do we have free electrons in wood or plastic? No. Why? Because it is an insulator. Why? Because it is an insulator. So if it is an insulator, that means it does not have free electrons. So if there are no free electrons, that means the electrons which are present here, they're like, I'll not go. You go. I'll not go. So here they are very selfish, right? They will not go. They will stay at because of the nucleus, or maybe they fear nucleus a lot. So as a result, electrons says, no, I can't go because I'm not free. Okay, I'm not free. So as a result, here each and every atom says this. No, I will not allow the electrons to go. So as a result, this becomes a gap, right? This becomes a gap. That means your road is blocked. So if the road is blocked, now will these electrons will be able to go? No. So as a result, this is a big hindrance to the flow of electrons and this circuit will not work. Clear? So these electrons which are present at the core, first of all, they are not free. As a result, this particular structure is providing hindrance to the flow of electrons from the wire portion, and as a result here, first of all, the circuit becomes incomplete. The circuit becomes incomplete as they create a bridge. So as soon as they incomplete circuit. Okay, so as soon as the circuit is incomplete, right? The circuit is incomplete. As a result, the electrons are not able to flow. Hence, the circuit will not work. Okay. Now come to this portion. Here we have a comb bulb, but electrons, will they get any guidance? No. Why? Because there is no power supply. So there is no power supply. So if there is no power supply, how do you expect the electrons will flow? So the electrons are normally, they're just roaming around. They're still aimless, or you can say jobless, because no one is there to provide them guidance. And one more thing is that is there is presence of insulator. Also, the main story is that there's no power supply. For that reason, electrons will not work. Even if we introduce one power supply, the comb will work as an insulator. As a result, the circuit will not work. Understood? Now, the third question. Now in the third question, we are able to see that we do nothing have something like circus kind, whether it's comb or whether it's toothbrush. Here we have one iron nail. So if we have one iron nail, that means it is a good conductor, right? So if it is a good conductor of electricity, that means it has free electrons, right? It has free electrons. So this free electron says this, we are, yes, for now we are aimless, or you can say jobless, but if you show us some guidance, we can be helpful. Now, is the guardian present here? No. There's no one to guide these electrons. So because for this reason, means what I'm trying to say is there is no power supply. So if there is no power supply, will the electrons will be able to move? No. So as a result, if the power is only not there, the electrons are aimless, as a result, the circuit will not work. Okay. So the comb is present here. That is, first of all, we have understood, chalo, theek hai. This is the insulator. But main thing is that there's no power supply here. But in that means, what is the difference between two? Even if you have an insulator or conductor, if there is no power supply, the electrons will not flow. As a result, there will be no, the circuit is incomplete. Okay. Now let us see whether we have done it perfectly or not. Okay, so plastic comb is not a conductor of electricity. A plastic toothbrush is not a conductor of electricity, but a power source is missing. A metal screw is a good conductor of electricity, but the power source is missing. Okay. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you really find this videos informative and helpful, please do subscribe my channel, Vigyan Jyoti. Hit the like button and share it with your dear and near ones. And yes, please don't forget to comment, because your feedback does matter.